Hey there, and welcome. Today we're doing something really exciting. We are completely demystifying the art of espresso and turning you into a confident home barista. If you've ever felt a little intimidated by those massive, shiny machines and all that complex cafe jargon, honestly, don't worry about it. In this explainer, we're going to break the whole process down step by step. Let's jump right in. Here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We're going to cover demystifying the espresso, choosing your espresso machine, mastering the coffee grind, the golden ratios, and finally, step-by-step brewing. All right, section 1, demystifying the espresso. Let's break down some myths. So we need to clear up a massive misconception right off the bat. Espresso is absolutely not a type of bean, and it's not a specific roast. Nope, it's actually a brewing process, a really quick one. It uses high pressure to force nearly boiling water through finely ground coffee, and the whole thing usually takes just 20 to 30 seconds. Now, sure, certain dark roasts might highlight those classic espresso flavors the best, but technically speaking, you can use literally any coffee bean to pull a velvety shot of espresso. Okay, now here's a super surprising fact for you. Because espresso tastes so incredibly intense and dense, we just naturally assume it's this huge caffeine bomb, right? Well, that's actually a complete myth. A standard 1-ounce shot of espresso only has about 63 milligrams of caffeine. Meanwhile, your standard 8-ounce cup of everyday morning drip coffee, that packs anywhere from 96 to 128 milligrams. So espresso gives you that massive flavor punch, but your humble drip coffee is actually delivering the bigger caffeine hit. Wild, right?
Moving on to section 2, choosing your espresso machine. It's time to gear up for success.
Selecting the right machinery is exactly how you build your brewing foundation. And honestly, it all comes down to one question. How hands-on do you want to be? If you're a beginner and you just want pure convenience, automatic machines are great. They control the pressure and the water for you. Now, for intermediate brewers who want a bit more customization, semi-automatic machines let you control the water flow. What if you're advanced and want total control over time, flow, and pressure? You are going to love a manual machine. And finally, for the deeply committed, the ones with a matching budget, super automatic machines do the whole shebang. We're talking grinding to brewing at the push of a single button. But before you invest, there are a few key purchasing factors you really got to consider. I mean, cost, size, and capacity are pretty obvious, but please don't ignore safety features like auto shutoff. And I really want to highlight cleaning and maintenance here. It's simple. The more bells and whistles a machine has, the more daily upkeep it's going to need. Also, think about the noise level. You definitely don't want to wake up the entire house just to pull a morning shot. And as always, check those customer reviews to get the real story before buying. All right, section 3. Mastering the coffee grind. This is the crucial variable. I cannot stress this enough. The grind is exactly where your home espresso will either succeed or completely fail. To get it right, you basically have two main options. First, you've got blade grinders. These use a spinning metal blade, kind of like a food processor. They are chaotic, they're hard to control, and they give you a super inconsistent grind that just ruins the taste. You really want to avoid them for espresso. Instead, you want a burr grinder. These gently crush the beans between two moving surfaces. It's a real game changer. It's vastly superior because it creates a beautifully consistent texture, extracts the flavor evenly, and protects those delicate coffee oils from overheating. For espresso, a good burr grinder is absolutely non-negotiable. The general rule of thumb for coffee grinding is actually pretty simple. The longer the water touches the coffee, the coarser the grind needs to be. So making cold brew or using a French press, you want a coarse grind. Think chunky, like rock salt. Doing a drip or pour over, go medium, kind of like kosher salt. But for espresso, since the water blasts through under high pressure in just mere seconds, you need it highly refined. You're looking for a texture exactly like everyday table salt. Now let me ask you a question. When you brew at home, does your coffee sometimes taste overly bitter or maybe a little sour? Or on the flip side, does it turn out kind of flat and watery? Take a second and think about your recent brews. This is a super common hurdle, but the fix is incredibly simple once you understand the science of extraction. Okay, so here is the secret. If your coffee tastes bitter or sour, it's over-extracted. That basically means the water pulled way too much out of the beans. The fix? Just try a larger, coarser grind next time. On the other hand, if it tastes flat or watery, it's under-extracted. The water just rushed through way too fast. To solve that, you adjust to a smaller, finer grind. By making these tiny little tweaks to your grind size based purely on what your taste buds are telling you, you can instantly dial in your shots just like a pro barista. Let's move into section 4, the golden ratios. This is the secret formula. Let's lock in our technique with the exact numbers you need to memorize. First up is the 1-to-2 ratio. The absolute optimal coffee-to-water ratio for espresso is 1 gram of dry coffee grounds to 2 grams of brewed liquid espresso. To hit this consistently, honestly, a digital kitchen scale is a total game changer. You just weigh the dry input going in and you weigh the liquid output coming out. Simple as that. Once you've got your ratio dialed in, you need to watch the clock. 20 to 30. This is your magic brewing window. It represents the contact time, in seconds, between the coffee and the water. So if you hit your 1-to-2 weight ratio and it takes exactly 20 to 30 seconds to pour into your cup, boom, you have officially hit the golden target for a perfectly balanced espresso shot. And finally, Section 5, Step-by-Step Brewing. Let's pull the perfect shot. We've built up our foundation, so let's combine it all at the machine. Step 1, warm your cup. You don't want a cold mug cooling down your freshly brewed espresso. Step 2, dose your ground espresso into the portafilter. That's just a fancy term for the handled basket you lock into the machine. Step 3, use a tamper to pack those grounds evenly into a nice compact puck. This helps the water flow uniformly through the coffee. Step 4, clear the group head by running a quick blast of steam just to flush it out. And finally, Step 5, insert the portafilter, start brewing immediately so the puck doesn't burn, and pull that beautiful shot right into our magic window of 20 to 30 seconds. Now, before we celebrate that perfect pour, remember that a truly great home barista respects their workspace. Always discard the used coffee puck, thoroughly rinse the portafilter, and brush the group head clean immediately after you brew. And please, prioritize your safety. You are dealing with highly pressurized steam, near boiling liquids, and some very sharp grinder blades. Treat your gear with respect and caution every single time. As the saying goes, pulling beautiful shots of espresso like a barista? Now's the time to try other coffee brewing methods like drip, pour-over, French press, and cold brew. You now have the structured knowledge you need to conquer the mighty espresso. So I'll leave you with this. Once you've perfected that golden, velvety shot right in your own kitchen, which fascinating coffee method are you going to master next? Thanks so much for learning with me today.